Hello there, and welcome to another sneak peek this week, this time at a second prototype defense. That's right, we're taking on the Grappler in this particular episode. Once again, as you can see, left side, crazy level, right side, big D. I am in the developer build. Everything that you see and read and believe could change at a moment's notice, at the whim of the powers that be, but that's okay, because for the time being what I am going to do is bring you as much information as I can on the Grappler. That's right. So, we're going to start off with health of the level 1 Grappler. It is at 20,000 hit points, and it does a whopping 25 damage per second. Now, it only shoots once every 5 seconds, which means really, when it hits, it's hitting for like 125 damage. But, like, let's face it, you're not dropping this prototype module, or this prototype defense, to do damage. I'll show you what you're dropping it for. Give me a minute. Grappler level 2. So, on the second rank of the Grappler, it has 25,000 hit points. It does a whopping 25 damage per second, but now it shoots every 4 seconds. So you actually get yourself an extra shot every couple of rounds. And then finally, Grappler number 3, the queen of the Grapplers. Bam. 30,000 hit points on this bad boy, and 25 damage per second again, but it fires every 3 seconds. So those are the Grappler. Wham. And here we have it, the actual Grappler, right next to our next best friend, the Hot Pot. And the Grappler, let me zoom out, way out. As you can see, the Grappler number 3 has the same range as a rocket launcher. Like, we are side by side. You can look up at these little gold storages, and you can tell they're the same. They even have the same safe zone on the inside. And again, this could all change. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. No one knows. Well, I guess Boom Beach knows, but I don't think they're telling anybody. It's a secret. Okay, so now that we've got our Grappler in place and we have, oops, the wrong troops loaded up, let's load up some Scorchers. And I'm going to jump out and go over to the War Factory. Again, this is not a real War Factory. This is purely for demonstration purposes only. As you can see, I've already had some fun with it. And look at all those lovely Grapplers. They're all over the joint. So, let me show you what happens when you drop a handful of Scorchers in front of the Grapplers. That's right. We've started a game of Pass the Grappler. Well, Pass the Scorcher? Grapple the Scorcher? Scorcher grapple. As you can see, basically these poor Scorchers don't have a chance. They just keep getting flung from one spot to another. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. That is how the Grappler works. And don't worry, we're gonna get into it. Oh, Gearheart, leave me alone. So the Grappler, as the name implies, grapples your, well, not your units, but opposing units, and pulls them into what I would call the kill zone. And the kill zone, you would normally want to load up with like a bunch of defenses, say you drop some cannons or boom cannons or something, and whatever the Grappler grabs will get dropped right in front of it. And really, let's be honest, there is no better way of me to show this to you than showing you some gameplay. That's right, that's the magical movie magic music making. As you can see, I am dropping 40 medics right here on the beach because I want to show you the Grappler grappling the crap out of, well, all of the things. So, first of all, big thank you to Dangerous Thing for loaning me her base and making this lovely kill zone right here in the middle of the base so that I could run troops in here and show you all just how effective this Grappler is. As you can see, it is reaching out, snatching the medics up one by one, and dragging them back where all the cannons and boom cannons and flamethrowers and machine guns can have their way with them, which is perfect because that's essentially what the Grappler is doing. It doesn't do a lot of damage through its initial attack, but what it does do is it turns your 1 kill zone base into a 2 kill zone base. And if you don't understand what I mean by this, down here where the mortars are, where our medics are sitting, this is kill zone number 1. Basically where your offensive units and your defensive structures meet. That is your kill zone. So obviously on most bases you're going to have 1 kill zone. Pretty straightforward, right? There's only going to be one place where offensive units are meeting defensive units, unless, you know, smoke is involved, because that obviously changes things up a little bit and whatnot. But in the case of, say, for example, our medic rush, or if instead we were using, I don't know, something else, like heavies, which we'll be using shortly, you'll kind of see what I mean by that. But before we get to the heavies, I want to show you the warriors, because that's right, there were some salty people out there with the unleashing of the hot pot. Some people were really concerned about the future of the warriors because the hot pot is such a devastating little beast. So here we go. Here are a whole bunch of warriors up around an HQ. And there is our Grappler just waiting for the smoke to go, and bam, grabbing warriors one at a time and dragging them away. Well, that didn't seem to have much effect at all. Yes, the Grappler essentially zero effect on the warriors. The warriors still blast through and destroy that HQ with no stress whatsoever. But where you're gonna really see the power of the Grappler is against, say, like a T-Med or a Skank setup, or really even heavy Zookas. Now, obviously, these are all heavies, but you can see the Grappler reaching out, snatching one, pulling it back, and then all the cannons and boom cannons and sniper towers work away on that one heavy, clear it out, and then they go in for the next one. And it's a rinse-repeat sort of scenario. Now, don't let these heavies fool you either. I am rocking enough red, or if you would, enough Clifford, that I should really be putting anything to shame. My heavies are currently running around with 40 to 50,000 hit points each, so I wanted something that was beefy and that you could definitely see getting towed around and watch them kind of work through the defenses and everything. So, not maybe the greatest example. So, moving on to the next stop, we are doing the Grens, because everybody loves the Grens, and the Grens rely on max range. And wait for it, bam! The Grappler loves the Gren's max range. You can see this Grappler going out, grabbing onto single offensive units, dragging them back into the kill zone, and just letting everything else around it shred some fools. And one of the things I love so much about this grappler is the fact that the flamethrowers that have the shortest, I guess, target radius of the entire game suddenly become so much more powerful. Why? Well, I'm gonna tell you. They do a buttload of damage, but they have a short attention span. They kind of flop around like this. Let me slow it down so the camera can catch up. Alright, they really do kind of burn the snot out of everything, though. But most of the units hang back, and the flamethrower never gets a chance at them. And what the grappler does, if you surround it with a bunch of flamethrowers, is suddenly give you this insane high damage inferno section, but at a distance. Like, you can grab the grenadiers that normally machine guns wouldn't even get a chance at, drop them right on top of the flamethrowers, and let the flamethrowers go crazy. Now, you can couple this with, like, your HQ, so that you've got your flamethrowers covering your HQ for, say, warrior attacks or whatever, but it definitely lends a lot of flexibility to a lot of defenses that, you know, maybe haven't been used in certain ways before. Also, what this kind of does is, for your defenses that are at the back of the base, that for the first half of the invasion would normally just sit there going like, oh yeah, okay. Guys, keep coming, you'll get here eventually. Now, instead of sitting back and doing nothing, the grappler can pull things back to them, and they can get in on the fight, making your defenses that much more efficient. Anyways, this I could continue on about for hours and hours, but instead I'm going to call it here. I'm going to thank you very much, guys, for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this has been entertaining. And most importantly, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.